Instead, let us embrace it. For freedom allows us to hope and to create. And it is hope and creativity that will spur progress for our nation. The PAP has pulled out all the stops, giving concessions here, rebates there, and getting everyone drunk with an SG50 merriment. But what happens when the party is over, my friends? What happens when the music stops playing and all the guests go home? Your housing loan is still not paid. The electricity bill has gone up, and the guy that threw the party now sends you the bill for the cake, the decorations, and the drinks. Before the elections, the government is very generous. But what you should be worried about is what happens after the elections if there is no opposition in Parliament. How we live in the future as a community, as a nation, will depend on the choices that we make today. The political and economic incentives and disincentives that we build into our system will determine whether we progress or stagnate. Now, you may not, or you may agree with everything that the SDP says and does. But the one thing that you cannot dispute is that the SDP has worked tirelessly to meet your expectations of a competent, constructive, and compassionate party. Now let me go back to the point I started off in my speech tonight. The PAP and the SDP may have different visions for our country, but that doesn't mean we need to be mortal enemies. We may belong to different camps, but that doesn't mean we need to wish each other ill. I've always believed that a strong government can only come about if there is a strong opposition. And I believe that you, the people, want to see both. And you can have both. But whether it is the SDP or the PAP, we must love our country more than we love our own parties. Ultimately, Singapore must come first. And if Singapore is to come first, then let us discard the politics of old and look ahead to a democratic and bright future. I believe in the same belief, and I continue to work towards the same goal that I did when I started out in politics, which is to claim for ourselves the freedom so that all of us can care for society, for our nation. That was my goal and my dream 25 years ago, and it remains my goal and my dream today. But that dream is not mine alone. It is shared by all of us here tonight. It is shared by all of us who believe in justice and equality and a better future for all Singaporeans. I cannot do it alone. None of us in the SDP can. Without you, the party doesn't exist. But with you, there is nothing we cannot achieve. Some say that Singaporeans are a pragmatic people, uninterested in human rights and democracy. Now, even if this is true, which I don't believe, it doesn't matter. What matters is that Singaporeans who do, Singaporeans like you and I, must press ahead with the arduous but noble effort to make into reality that idea, that dream, that hope of democracy that has eluded our nation for too long. Let us not yield, and let us not kneel. Instead, let us stand up like men and women with all our transgressions, with all our fears, with all our imperfections, but let us stand up and rattle the cage of oppression. Let us defy those who put minds into our cages, who put our eyes into blinkers, and who put our souls into mortuaries. Let us continue to fight the fight that so many across the world have fought, so that we too may know the exhilaration that comes with freedom, the compassion that comes with justice, and the wisdom that comes with an open and democratic society. I ask you, my friends, to keep faith with the SDP and to help us build a future confident and prosperous. To this end, you have my undying commitment and loyalty. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Dr. Chee.
Dr. Chee, SDP. We come to the end of the rally, but is it okay that you spare me 1 minute to share something that I heard? The quote that I learned when I was in school. The world hate change, yet is the only thing that has brought progress. I think it's relevant to us all. Let's vote for SDP on Friday. Fellow Singaporeans, you have heard our speakers tonight. Please go home and talk to everyone you meet about what you heard. If you agree with us, tell your friends. If you don't, you have suggestions, contact us and email us. We want to know what you think. Thank you again for coming tonight. Our next